In this multimodal project, Team We Tried Steve will be explaining the severity of cyberspace influencing the way people think about certain controversial topics and outlandish ideas. Some of these topics will include, but are not limited to, anti-vaxxers, hate crimes, and conspiracy theories. We're going to explain why and how thoughts like internet-related conspiracy theories influence people's beliefs and affect their reality.
Let's look back on a specific story from the anti-vax movement on a webpage called voicesforvaccines.org. We have Miranda Dinda, a former anti-vax mom who's here to tell her side of the story and what made her join such a radical mindset. It all began when she became pregnant with her first and only child. She wanted an at-home birth and a midwife to go along with this. As soon as she'd found one, that's when the trouble began. Said midwife began to fill her head with anti-vax propaganda, telling Miranda about how her son had a bad reaction to these vaccines and got autism from such. The midwife then encouraged her to do her own research online to uncover the truth behind the ingredients in these shots. As she put it, there were mothers who said their children became autistic, developed epilepsy, or even died after receiving a vaccine. The rabbit hole got deeper when she read about how doctors get paid premiums to vaccinate our children and that the medical community is purposely poisoning everyone for each reason under the sun, including population control, money, and even just because they're evil. After joining organizations like such on Facebook and other platforms, she convinced her fiancé to go through with not vaccinating their child. Eventually, the opposing arguments got to her and she took another look at anti-vax facts with a scientific viewpoint. After reevaluating her viewpoint, she felt duped and flat out lied to. The fear of being a first-time mom and wanting to do things right the first time caused her to be susceptible to these false facts and brainwashing. My change of heart hasn't come without cost. Now that I'm completely pro-vax, I've lost friends, gained enemies, and changed greatly, she's quoted saying.
Institute for Neuroscience and Behavior Director Peter Wybrow. This comparison relates to addiction and the trouble surrounding like manic cycles with depressive stretches. People's behavior on the internet is not conscious of what will be best for them, and they end up anxious with compulsive actions. A study conducted by Saroj Vasoshi, Deb Roy, and Sanan Aral from MIT, published in Science 2018, found that falsehood diffused significantly farther, faster, deeper, and more broadly than the truth in all categories of information. ScienceMap.org classified news as true or false using information from 6 independent fact-checking organizations that showed high agreement rates. They found that false news was more interesting than the truth, and people will share what sparks their interest. The lies inspired by stronger emotions like fear, disgust, and surprise, while the truth inspires anticipation, sadness, joy, and trust. Sensationalism is what gets the attention of the masses, and it spreads the ignorance. Couple our high intake of the internet with the misleading information presented to us, and you've got a populace believing anything and everything, as well as one too stuck in its ways to do well-needed research.
Now, let's see another group that's gained traction from misinformation using the internet. The Flat Earth movement. In 2016, popular artists like the rapper B.O.B. came out and announced to the world that the world was flat, and they could prove it with a single photograph. Using the doctrine that believing isn't knowing, the Flat Earth Society openly accepts a variety of theories about the plane they say we live on. The goal is to disprove how the Earth is formed, and for that, they say there is plenty of evidence. Sinking ships is one theory they discuss. According to the Flat Earth Wiki, or as they call it, VIEW, the phenomena where distant bodies like ships or lighthouses appear to disappear as the distance grows. Flat Earthers say the theory is inconsistent, only occurs when the weather is bad. NASA astronomer Dr. Michelle Fowler says that ships and objects do appear to disappear over the curve. It just takes large distances. One of the major flaws of the Flat Earth Society is the scale. All the experiments are done within small radiuses. Considering the Earth has a diameter of 7,917.5 miles, sometimes though, it isn't the idea that believing and seeing are unequal, but actually, people are led into the ideas by religion. Let's take a look at the ex-flat earther Adam Joseph Dowley's story. He started on YouTube as a simple music and occasionally a Bible study account, that is, until he discovered the account Tiger Dan 625, a renowned flat earth Christian who spread some strange information. After some independent study of the Bible, he became inclined to agree that the Earth was flat, made some videos to discuss the fact, and was even invited on some other flat Earth shows. It wasn't until his family voiced their concerns that he realized he was in too deep. It was like getting out of a cult. He said in an interview with Craig on the channel Fight the Flat Earth, "The only way I can describe it is like a fantasy world," he said to Craig.
Our own personal research has led us to believe that even the most sane people can succumb to believing something with facts that have little proof to back them up. As a mixture of interview and survey, our results have shown that people are aware of the out there thoughts that are conspiracy theories. A few individuals voiced out that some of the ones they've heard are semi-new but still outrageous. These range from the causation of the September 11th terrorist attacks to the Illuminati being real. One survey taker even cited the popular Mandela effect as a theory they know of. This is when collective memories, shared by large numbers of people, can turn out to be oddly wrong for one reason or another, a large phenomenon documented by many people, and then leads them to forming their own reasons for this. 90% of the participants who took our survey have stated they found conspiracy theories online. The other 10 stated they had not. However, 100% of the participants said they do believe in at least one of these outlandish thoughts for one reason or another, possibly because it's a common experience, like the Mandela effect. Out of all the surveyors, 22% claim it's because of the internet that they believe in their ideas. Our interviews yielded similar results. In terms of individuals hearing and knowing of conspiracy theories, all except one said that they don't believe in conspiracy theories, saying things along the lines that many of them aren't backed up by facts. Believe. All right, Destiny, do you know what a conspiracy theory is?
I do know what a conspiracy theory is.
Do you know about any conspiracy theories?
I do. I know about the one about Chuck E. Cheese's pizza.
Elaborate on that.
I mean, there are people that believe that they reuse the pizza and that's why it's cut into such bad slices, but really it's not true.
Are there any sort of conspiracies that are like slightly convincing that you kind of believe in?
Definitely JFK's assassination.
No. Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Why?
Because that had to be planned by the government. There's no way that just happened out of the blue.
All right. Have you met anyone else who believes in conspiracy theories, and do you know what their personality was like?
Yeah, Tori believes in conspiracy theories, but like she doesn't ever speak about them like all of the time. Just, you know, when the time comes.
When the time comes. Do you think that people actually believe in them or just faking it?
I feel like some people are like diehard conspiracy theorists or they just don't care at all. So it's either you do believe in them and like that's what you love to believe, or it's just like they're kind of there and they don't really care.
Okay, so do you know what conspiracy theories are?
Yes,
Okay, and do you know of any?
a lot of them.
Okay, give me an example of one that you know.
So 9/11 was supposedly faked because of bombs in the tower. That's one of them.
Do you believe like that any of the conspiracy theories that you have heard of are convincing?
Yeah, a lot of them.
Why? Like, why do you believe that?
Because a lot of them are mostly based on true facts and evidence that people have found and asked questions about from like government officials and stuff. So that's why I believe a lot of them.
Have you met someone that believes conspiracy theories as well?
Not really.
No. Okay, so when people believe in conspiracy theories, do you think they're like being honest or they're just faking it to like fit in or something like that?
I think a lot of people just fake it to get popularity.
Yeah.
Like especially like making dumb ones like the earth is flat.
Yeah.
They just want to be famous. But yeah.
I do.
Can
Yeah.
you give me an example?
That the earth is flat and that global warming is fake.
Okay. Are there any conspiracy theories that seem kind of convincing to you?
God, no.
Why don't you believe that some of them are real?
Because there's no facts to back them up that make any sense to me.
Okay, do you think people actually believe in these conspiracy theories?
Yes.
Have you met anyone who believes in these theories?
Yeah, I have.
What were their personality like?
Awful.
Explain more.
Like, they expected everybody to believe what they did. Tried to convince everybody that the conspiracy is real.
Yeah, I know a couple good ones. Okay, so one of my favorite ones, just because I hate the Patriots, is them cheating their way through numerous Super Bowls. First, you had them spying on other teams' practices, and then, deflating footballs and giving themselves an edge over the competition.
that any of them are convincing?
Absolutely, because they were caught cheating both times.
Have you met someone who believes in conspiracy theories, and what were they like?
Contrary to popular belief, the people that like aliens, they're not running around with the metal bowls on their head and antennas. But the ones who believe in aliens are probably the most wild.
Do you think people actually believe in them or just fake it?
I think they look at the fact of there's so much space, there's got to be somebody else out there, so I think they actually believe them. But there's some people that take it a little too far.
Another controversial topic is Elvis Presley's death. According to Melissa Chan, a journalist for Time magazine, Elvis Presley was pronounced dead August of 1977. But to this day, many believe he is alive. His death brought shock to fans and members of the music industry, and many seem to be in denial of the circumstance. Many believe that he went into hiding because he wanted quietude from the fame that followed him. Days after his funeral, fans claimed they seen Presley. Once the word spread that Elvis was spotted, the Elvis Sighting Society was created in hopes of putting an end to the confusion. Once this happened, doctors told his fans that his death was real. People became so rebellious to his death they looked for more information that would prove he was alive. One thing that caught their attention was the fact his middle name was spelled wrong on his tombstone. This misspelling became a very well-known corroboration to his life. Years later, after his pronounced death and funeral, people still believe his death is not real. This is proof that people are influenced by media and what people tell them.
Well, why are we even talking about these alternative facts and strange conspiracies? That's because we're entering a new era of information. Post-truth. Welcome to the post-truth era where the truth is irrelevant. Now, debates are settled by the tug of the hearts and ignore the brains, or an argument of what are the facts. Who needs facts when an emotional lie can get you twice as far? The Oxford Dictionary called it the word of the year in 2016, and it's been floating around since 1992 Iran-Contra affair. The real post-truth era emerged with the 2016 presidential election and Brexit. The heart of post-truth comes down to the funhouse mirror algorithms of the internet. Everything is being tailored specifically to entertain and draw in a person, no matter if it perpetrates the truth. And it's killing the argument. No longer can the truth prevail, but instead may the better liar win.
Our findings have concluded that it is important to stay vigilant to what you find online, whether it is a dude, anti-vax mom, or someone who's adamant to prove a point with no facts. While as humans we do add onto our personality while examining others, we can do so in ways that are dangerous or just doesn't make sense. The information that we've discovered proves that even with data to support the truth, people continue to make these topics controversial.
No!